Good morning, or afternoon, or evening. It's about time I gave Bugsy some love, and I remembered I still have some treats in my box. I actually have a box inside my box from Mike Childs. He sent me a little care package a while ago, so let me show you what we're going to do today. I currently use the cheapest of the cheap ignition for my car, and it came with a selection of these tiny little keys. Always been a wee bit cautious with these keys because they're a bit flimsy. Thankfully, Mike sent me in this box a brand new ignition switch kit, and it has marginally bigger keys, but they just feel a bit stronger. Let's rip into this box and see how it looks and see what the instructions are like. Hopefully the wiring is the same as what I've got. Ooh, it's a big one. Right, it does come with a little selection of connectors. I shouldn't need them, but I will keep them anyway because, you know, I keep everything until I have a big purge, and then I get rid of everything and then regret it. Right, so key wise, it's quite a different style of key. This one is a double-sided key, so obviously that would go in either way, which is kind of good, but this one is much thicker. It's got a bigger grabby bit as well, so I like that. It comes with two keys, so that's nice. Let's see what the action is like. It just feels chunkier. I like it. So let's see the wiring. It should be fairly straightforward. Kind of washed out picture, but you get the idea. Ground, accessory, starter, ignition, battery, power in. Excellent. Right, let's get out to the car and take the old one out, slap the new one in. First things first, disconnect the battery. No power is now going up there. Now I'm just hoping that I've left enough wire behind that to be able to come back and under so that I can put the new plug on. Let's find out. I used an assortment of washers to build this out because this ignition switch was always an afterthought. I'm hoping that the new one is a bit more sensible. You see what I mean? I had to use all these to pack it out. There isn't actually anything wrong with this, so I'm not going to just ditch it. I will keep it for, oh, in fact I could use it in my new project. There you go. Although I'm not sure if a Mazda fuel injected system is going to appreciate old school tech. Let's try to be careful that I don't disrupt anything. Okay, I've got enough room down there to rewire it. Now the first thing you'll notice is the connections for these are all screw on compared to the spade ends on this. So what I'll do, I'm going to do them one at a time. As you can see, I've got pretty thick wires there. This one, I believe, and it will say on the ignition switch, should be the battery. Yeah, so that's the battery coming in. The one in the middle is the power going to the starter motor. So big thick wire coming in, big thick wire going out to the starter. Let's see, I've got another big thick wire here, which is for, oh, I tell a lie. Okay, let's start again. That one is the battery coming in because it says battery. That one is actually the accessory. So battery in, power out to starter. This is accessory. So that will go to the fuse box, I believe. And the blue one is, I can't see it, but I'm guessing that will be ignition. So ignition on. Anyway, it'll all make sense when I take it apart. But before I do that, I am actually going to just make sure that this switch actually fits in the hole. I may have to enlarge that hole a little bit because that looks bigger. Yep, that's not going in there. Alternatively, I could see what the hole's like for the horn. That's my horn button. I kind of want that on the ground anyway. It's kind of awkward to find when you're, you know, in an emergency situation. So I might take this out. In fact, I will. I'll take this out and see what the hole's like and see if that will go in there. I'd rather not be grinding bigger holes. One of my famous big giant washers. Let's see if my new switch goes in that hole. Oh yes, it does. Obviously, I think this was American racing or something, so it is designed for old cars like this. So I don't need to mess with that hole. And I wonder if the horn would actually just go in there instead. I think it will. If I can find a route. Yep, the horn will be there for now. I want the horn on the floor though, but it'll go there for now. Right, let us proceed with this installation. I think I'll just remove this clock for now. I've actually disconnected it because it was just too darn loud. Tick, tock. So that'll give me more access for the top. It's a shame. I mean, this is the only one I could find and it was really cheap. Well, it's the only one I could find that was really cheap, but it's just too loud. I can't bear it. I can hear it from my bedroom and that's a floor away, you know, so. But yeah, that's the wiring for the clock, so it's still there if I find a replacement. Anyway, that will give me access to go away. Yeah, I've got plenty of room behind there. Let's just double check that with it in place. Make sure it's not fouling anything from the back side. Yep, that'll do just nice. Obviously been designed for this car. Thanks, Mike. How did you know? Well, because you've been watching my videos. Right, let's wire this up and get it where it's supposed to go. Well, that was fairly straightforward. Now, I know it does come with this thing, which is obviously designed to go with these little clips, so you don't need these insulated connectors. I'm never a big fan of these because if one of them breaks, then you have to take the whole lot off and then you risk damaging all the other ones. I'd rather just have individual. But as you can see, there is a lot of exposed live connectors here. So I will be wrapping this section here at least, just with some black insulating tape. Before I do that though, I suppose we better check and make sure it works. Where's that big red key? This one. Okay. Do the power on first, make sure nothing sparks and smokes and, you know, goes on fire. Power is on. Let's try the key. It goes in this way. So turning left should turn the accessories on. This red light up the top should come on. My dummy light, and it does. My gauges are working. Turn it the other way and it should fire up, I guess. Yes, we're in neutral. Actually, we're in park. Yeah, let's just make sure that works. That's fine. Give that a bit of gas, make sure it keeps running. All present and correct. Okay. Now I can stuff this in its hole. Once I wrap it in this, dog hair gets everywhere, even out here. Anyway, that's enough. Just in case something inside the dash decides to wander over and touch alive. So that'll do. Right, let's get it in its hole. Oh, you know what, I'm going to turn off the power while I do this. Let's not ruin things when we're this close to success. I do have the wires coming from this heater control, which are really quite fragile, so let's just make sure we don't ruin them. And my clock wires, like so. Let's make sure I've got my key orientation the right way around. So it's going to be down the way? No, up the way. Okay. Yep, right there. It's a very, very fine thread, and I don't want to ruin it. So just take my time, find its groove. Come on, find your groove. Come on, this isn't awkward at all. Ugh, come on. There we go. Right, we're all fitted, nice and flush. Suppose we better switch it on. Make sure it still works, no sparks. Key's not as easy to get in, but I'll get used to that. I still prefer this as a key. Light comes on at the top. A couple of pumps. Lovely jubblies. You notice my full tank of gas? That's a rarity. You seen this, wifey? She'll be so proud. Okay, let me plonk this clock back in. Still fits. Purely for decoration. And then I'll get the horn back in. And then we will be done. Done. Clock back in, horn back in. Does it still work? Yep. Sorry everybody on the world. Okay, what else can we do? Do you know what would make this hot rod even cooler? A cooler. This unassuming little cooler has been in our family for 20 plus years. It looks a bit old, well, kind of retro. I'm thinking of giving it a bit of a paint job, but we'll see. It still works, or it should work. The only problem is, it's a UK spec. It does have a bit of accident damage where the lid fell off, but it still works. Now, it's got hot and cold, and it does work, or at least it did work the last time we used it, which was probably 10 years ago in Scotland. So I did have to get a cable for it, 12 volt DC cable. Unfortunately, it will not run on a Canadian power outlet because it requires 220 to 240, but that's okay, it can still work in the car. I did get the cable. Oh, how do you do this? With one hand, it's kind of tricky. I'll just lift it off. So I do have the cable. I got this from China Land, I believe, and I have tested it and it works, but whether it works in the car, that's yet to be seen. As I say, this cooler been with us a while, lots of sentimental value, that's why we never get rid of it. It's been all over Europe. I'll show you a couple of pictures of where we went. Well, when I say all over Europe, it's been from Scotland all the way down to Spain and everything in between. So let's throw it in the car, plug it in, see if it works. Now obviously, this will not be living here. It will be living in the back. So I need to make some sort of strappage to secure it in the back, but there's plenty of room back there. And also, this thing is designed to plug into your house to cool it down first, and then you bring it into the car. Otherwise, it's just going to drain your battery before you go anywhere. So I need to look into getting a 110 to 240 converter that will power this, and that will just live in the house. Right, let's make sure it works before I go any further. Ignition on. Wire tangled already. Oh, for goodness sake. I'll probably install another cigarette lighter plug in the back so that I don't need to plug it into the front. Easy enough. Plug it in there and cold. You hear it? Little green lights on. I don't know how it works, but it does work. As I say, we've had this all around Europe in like 30 degrees centigrade, and it really cools the drinks down and the sandwiches, so happy with that. It will live on for another 20 years. Okay, there is one final thing on this. I'd like it to look a bit more retro, a bit more old school. I mean, it kind of looks almost 50s, but if you can think of a way I can make it look 30s, that would be even better. But that would involve, you know, sanding down all the plastic before it would take paint, so I don't know if I'll bother. If you get any bright ideas, leave a comment. It's turned into a really nice day, and there is a car meet down at Caledonia tonight, so I think I'll go down to that. I better get Bugsy all clean and shiny. There we go. Well, that's me for today. Thanks again to Mike Childs for the care package and my ignition switch. And if you notice behind me, I finally got my supporters' names on the big board of beautiful bastards. Thank you all very much. I did miss a couple. Andre Thomas that sent me the Impact socket set. I've never seen him comment. I think he's one of these, what's the word? Anonymous benefactor. And also Lindsay Borland, I'll get your name up on my next, the next time I'm at the PC. I'm too lazy to write it with a pen, so I'm going to print them all out. So thank you all for my support. I know the list doesn't look huge, but it's quite a small font. It's a huge list, and I couldn't have built Bugsy without your help. So thanks for that. I will see you in the next one. I think I might be doing some RAM content. Yeah, something happened. See you all soon. Bye bye.